We have a huge plant order that's coming tomorrow, and I have nowhere to put it. So we're gonna be doing a ton of stuff with this video. It's gonna be a little all over the place. These are just the life and times. So as you can see, the Legit Fish Food warehouse slash studio slash whatever this place is, the place where I fulfill orders, is kind of crazy. We got the experiment tanks that I want to put back there, but we got a bunch of the wholesale Legit Fish Food and overstock sitting there. We got packing materials all out of place. Random aquarium stuff is also just kind of everywhere. Substrate with a hammer in it that is meant for the big tank, which still isn't done yet. So we need to do a few things around here today to get ready for all these plants so that we don't waste them. That's something that's happened to me on more than one occasion when buying a bunch of plants from Florida from the wholesaler. So we're gonna do our best today to tidy some things up and hopefully create some spaces where we can dive into some more interesting things that you guys hopefully want to see. First things first, we gotta go do some work on the Amazon Jurassic Park tank. Not sure what we're gonna be calling this one, but we have to pull out a lot of the cork bark and do some modifications to them because the light's not gonna fit if we don't cut these down a little bit. I worked on this for a while, but then I remembered that we needed to go to Pisces Aquaria. So here, fast forward to Andrew's amazing show tank in the store. They were doing a lot of things. They just got a big plant order that day. So we spun through, looked at some fish. Here's that amazing show tank again with all the cardinals in it. Super awesome. I needed to grab some substrate, so picking up some sand here for one of the experiment tanks. Also needed some contra soil for the other one. That's a little hint at what the first experiment is gonna be. Then we got home, I had to pick up a few more male guppies for the tank that we just recently set up in the dining room. So there's those three, looking pretty good. We also picked out some dwarf hairgrass to finish that scape off. If you remember, I had everything except what I wanted to put in the substrate. So glad to have these tissue cultures. They're gonna really help round the scape out. Fast forward again to the next day, and I had to go meet up with Corey and Bob at the wet spot. So Corey had a few things for me, you'll see here in a second. It was really good to see these guys. Always a good time hanging out with your buddies in the fish store. Corey brought me some of his new lights to try out. We got, what do we got, a 4-foot?
4-footer and the 12-incher.
Little 12er. Is that 20 for me too, or?
Well, I was gonna show some other people. If you need the 20, it can be yours. But I just brought it so I had an extra light to, because people are gonna, can I see one? And since we're hitting fish stores, I thought, yeah, I can let people see one.
Okay, this is really great, but Bob Steenfott's in the building, guys.
Who's that?
Oh my God. This is awesome. Thank you, Corey. You can keep we can spread the love and give somebody else the 20.
Not everybody gets the delivery. I mean, it was a 4-hour drive, but Fish Tank Mike, sometimes you just gotta make that drive.
Thanks, buddy. I might actually try hanging Corey's new light above the new bonsai tree tank we just set up. Gotta be careful here, don't want to show you too much. That should be next week's video or the one after that. We're back at the house now. It's already been a super long day. Really good to see Corey and Bob. Even though we only got to chat for like 30 minutes, still really good to see those guys. The plants are here, and so now we have a lot of work to do. And I am really wishing I was more organized and or just had more space. This is gonna be a little annoying. We have still a ton of this Sylvinia that I don't wanna throw away because it's good. I didn't have a chance to give it to the people over at Pisces or the wet spot. We need to bag this stuff up, get it out of the way, because we're probably gonna have to put a bunch of these plants into these tanks for the time being until we can get this mess sorted out, get these tanks over there, and then put plants into the place where they're, most of them are gonna live. But let's see how these traveled. You get like a 2-day shipping, but you never know where things are gonna land and sit for, how cold it's gonna be. So looks like we have Java Fern, that's gonna go in our big tank. We have a bunch of portions of, I think I got some Glossostigma. This is looking like, nope, this is giant baby tears, some pearlweed. We got a few different kinds of crypts. I can't get a focus on that, but that is some spiralis. We have several different types of Liguigia and Rotala. Those will be perfect for the experiment tanks and showing the difference in growth rates with those fast-growing stem plants. We have some Mondo grass, can never have too much of that. Got some water wisteria. All this stuff is grown up out of water, so the way the leaves look aren't the way they're going to look once they've been in water for a while. Got some Amazon swords. Haven't played around with swords in a while, so I'm looking forward to that. They did ship some Pinatophyta. Was kind of sus on whether or not that was going to come through, but glad to get that stuff. And then here's what I'm mostly interested in, the Christmas moss. That actually looks pretty good. Sometimes the farms in Florida have an iffy reputation when it comes to moss. Are you gonna get actually the kind of moss you buy? But that does look pretty good and it looks pretty green. Got some super red mini Liguigia. And let's see, we got some bulbs down here too. What are these? Are these the tiger lotus, or were they were the dwarf aquarium lilies, of course. Got some more bamboo, so we'll have to do some fun little project with these. Got some jungle val, a few different types of val in leaded bunches to help them sink down. That's probably some rotala. No, that's, whoa, that is some humongous S. repens. That's pretty crazy. I usually buy them in the pots and they're a lot more compact. Those are huge, man. Huh. Narrow leaf val. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff in here. We won't pick through all of it. We'll leave a little bit to imagination, but the bottom here we have some pots of Monte Carlo, and that's going to be for one of the tanks inside. Looking pretty good. So when you get these in, you know, the foliage isn't super impressive, but if you put them in an immersed setup in one of the little greenhouses like I've done in the past, then you can quickly grow this out and double, if not triple, the amount of foliage if you have the time to do it. So I'm not sure if we're going to have the time to do it because I want to get the tank set up, but just know that's something that you can do with any pots that you get from pretty much anywhere. Fast forward a few days and we have all the plants in the tanks that they will not eventually live in. We still haven't gotten that fish food moved, guys, but we got most of the plants in somewhere where they're not going to be dying. Our fish are a little choked out here, I will admit, but this won't be the case for very much longer. Fingers crossed, over the next couple of days we'll deal with this mess and get things out of the way. We'll get these tanks over there and we can free these up to actually do some actual aquascaping in. I think my idea for these two aquariums is to do them in a low-tech type of a way, because I haven't done that in a super long time. It might be fun to actually use some soil again, but I don't really know. I mean, we have good substrate in both of these tanks. We have the CO2, so we might just do it. I just haven't decided yet. The plan is probably to pull the rummy nose out of both of the tanks and then put them into the tank that we just set up. So that also happened in the last few days. So while you probably didn't get to see me actually complete a lot of things in this video, we have gotten some things done. So the big tank is done, the bonsai tree tank inside my office is done, and the plants we just got are still alive. So we're doing pretty good. Looks like over here in the retail section, we're getting low on a few things. So that's gonna make it easy for me to go over here to the overstock boxes and pull out a bunch of stuff. That'll help, and then the rest of them I can move somewhere, or at least get them out of the way. Anybody need an old Fluval FX4? There's gotta be somebody that has a bunch of moss that they don't know what to do with, or they haven't gotten their projects figured out yet and they need to store it. So one way to do that, as well as what you can do with floating plants and a bunch of other aquarium plants, is make use of these tiny little greenhouses. I use these things all the time. So there's another big thing of moss over there. So go over to Amazon, find these little mini greenhouses, or seed starter things, whatever. They will help you out a bunch if that's your situation. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this week. Next week will probably be either that big tank setup or the bonsai tree tank. I haven't really figured it out yet. I need to sift through all the footage and see what I'm still missing and need to piece together, but we're finally getting back into some cool setups. I know that there's probably a lot of you that have been dying for that. I've been missing doing those things as well. So looking forward to it. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next one.